It's interesting. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful evening with us on Live with Lloyd. I'm your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn, and boy, do I have two wonderful guests for you today. And they are what is called Across the Pond, which I'll explain in just a moment. But in the meantime, I do want to thank you very, very much on this Monday, okay? And it's so interesting how quickly, we just in the first week, but it seemed like it's going fast, maybe because I'm just busy. But anyway, speaking of that, before I bring them on, I want to let you know that the show is being sponsored by Brother King Simon. He is now in the part 2 of July of the Anatomy of Numerovation. Alrighty. He does have a section coming up, part 3 in August. So for joining, just go to patreon.com/King Simon Productions. Also, Jazz Aphrodite, who is establishing a Numerology Mastery Institute beginning on the 10th of August. Please apply at the bottom there for those who would like to apply at jazzaphrodite.com. Also sponsoring is Queen B with Numbers Matter. And she has a show on the podcast on YouTube, and she's also giving a sale on her charts. So sales is not 50% off, it's $50, period. It is a sale that you will get. Also, I want to thank Nicholas Brooklyn at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. They're going to have an event this Saturday. It's going to be an interesting event, and it's going to be talking about quite a few things. So it starts at about 7 p.m. that evening on Saturday, July the 12th. In addition, Uchenna, who I had on, his book is not out yet. There's been a delay. It was supposed to have been out Saturday, but there was a kind of a glitch or something like that. So it should be out very shortly. Once it hits the stand, because I was checking today and I didn't see it, but once it does, I'll let you know. And his offer still stands that the first 7 days will be for 99 cents to download his ebook. Also, Manifest on Purpose with Miss Kimberly. She has a podcast about 2 or 3 times a week, and she has opened up another branch of her metaphysical skills, which is business astronumerology. So for those of you in business or wanting to start a business, please go to the bottom and click on Kimberly, KIMBALEY.com. And there is a complimentary consultation. So for those of you who kind of want to kind of get it started and you kind of just want to get a snippet, it is absolutely consultations, okay? It is a complimentary. So anyway, now I can bring on my guests. They are from the UK. They're a husband. Oh, there we go. It is Corey to the right and Vanessa, his lovely wife, to the left. And he is a metaphysician and she is a numerologist. So for folks of you who wants a numerology reading, you're going to get a London style presentation or UK presentation of how it works. You two, how you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Really good, thank you. Really good. Thank you for having us. Honestly,
It's an honor. It's an
really,
honor and a
really
pleasure.
honor.
And I look forward to seeing you two because I've been invited because of you to the UK in August next month.
Yes,
So
I'm very
that's going to be
excited on
very
this side.
interesting.
Absolutely.
How did you two come up with that idea?
So, you go first. I heard you excel. You got something ready.
Are we speaking about Cloud Purple first, or are we speaking about the event?
How you want to take it for the event or how y'all got started? Well, let's say how you got started first.
I suppose, yeah, we can speak on Cloud Purple. Myself, I've always had an interest in, essentially, it sounds cliche to say, especially these days, but just existence in of itself. From very young, I was quite conscious to the idea that there's intentionality and purpose to be sought during our time here. And I was lucky enough to have certain figures in my life that really was able to cultivate that interest, in my mother and my stepfather. And my stepfather always gravitated towards Eastern philosophy and things of that nature, Buddhism specifically. And it kind of led me on this path of self-discovery from very early in life. And it was something that I suppose has always been the backbone to my, the running theme throughout my life, so to speak. Fast forward to, I suppose, Vanessa and I, as a married couple, her being also very in tune and very much, we've always been able to resonate with each other, and we've very much consciously grown together. Who we are today is very much an evolution of who we were on the day that we first met, and we've been able to really reciprocate that same kind of energy back and forth between each other. And we got to a point where we thought, you know what, let's do this. Let's be a part of this community. Let's share what we are interested in, what we've discovered, what we've learned over the years. Let's be on a path of self-mastery, but also share that path with others that, are that way inclined. And we always see it as I use the phrase, the true master is the eternal student. And we thought, what better way of being studious within this field than interacting with others, connecting with others, and being able to retake inspiration from other people as well. Is being able to learn from others is a vital part of development spiritually. So last year, around August last year, we decided to start Cloud Purple.
August the 18th, to be specific.
You can see the numbers coming now.
That's the numerologist.
That's it. So yeah, we essentially are a business company, a collective that deal with self-mastery in all forms of the manner, and that encompasses numerology, metaphysics, philosophy, spirituality, and yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it. We're having a lot of good encounters as well. We've had several events local to where we live in Kent, and we're gaining good momentum and good feedback and reciprocation from people in the field over here. I suppose when it comes to if I was to think about the main purpose of the event and having you over, Lloyd, numbers are very fundamental in our existence. I'm an engineer by trade, and numbers has always been a running theme for me within that field. As clinical as engineering can be, I've seen a lot to where there's a conscious essence behind creation and thus engineering, because ultimately you're bringing something from mind into matter, and we apply numbers in that process. And we feel that using this school of thought within metaphysics and within spirituality and astrosciences would be a good way of being able to bring people together. Hence, we've come up with the name Interconnectedness.
And also,
Vanessa?
of course. Yes.
Vanessa, your turn, the numerologist. Okay, we talked to the metaphysician.
Thank you. Really, wow. I think stoked is probably a good word to use to be here this evening. And I say this evening we're being night owls because it's quite late.
You said it's about 12 o'clock in the morning there, right?
That's it. We've turned over a new day, so we're in Tuesday. However, it's always fantastic to be in 2 days at once. So
yeah.
Two time zones. So yes, I suppose consciously my journey started specifically with numbers back in 2016. And I find that very interesting that was also a universal year of a 9. And here we are today again. So it's, almost up
in the year of the 9, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, I've always had a keen interest in numbers. I remember when I was 19 and I was thinking about studying my accounting qualification at college, but I decided to study business instead, which has still been very fundamental. And I think it was about 5 years later, then I decided to actually pick up my accountancy qualification. So it's funny how those cycles come back around, depending on where you are at your life point. So professionally, when I've not got my cloud purple hat on, I do work as an accountant. So that, of course, helps the business too on that side. So, but I definitely have an avid interest in numbers. Whether that be to how many times that I wipe my feet before I come into home. It's always 6 times, 3 on the left, 3 on the right. It's very much to detail that master teacher number in numerology. I'm a big fan of that. And just really putting the intentionality behind it. I think what really helped me to discover that in 2016 was when you take a closer look at numbers, not just from an accounting perspective where you think, okay, are we making a profit or a loss? Is this invoice being paid? It's actually what are the signatures and characteristics behind those numbers as well? What are they telling us and how are they speaking and communicating to us? So that's something which has been really interesting. And coming across your courses, Lloyd, that you have online, that was a fantastic starting point for me to really have a good foundation and a springboard. And the same with Corey, we studied your courses together. So, we both have that foundation, which is helpful. So when I'm saying to him that I'm boiling the tea for 7 minutes because I wish for it to inspire and encourage me to have more wisdom, he can be aware of that, but obviously not for me to be too aloof as well. There's always 2 sides to the coin. So, I mean, I can talk about numbers all day. So.
Well, listen, yeah, I understand. It's like I will say sometimes I must be boring to people because that's all I'll talk about, numbers, but that's the world I live in. I guess just like Corey, who's an engineer, he lives in the world of engineering. And a person would have to be related to really get into his shoes. But I think engineers are brilliant because engineers is what change structures, the face of buildings and other things like that one would never know what was it before they see the building that they're walking into now. But I always thought engineers are amazing and they deal with numbers. They deal with numbers. How did you come upon the title Cloud Purple?
So, there is a bit of a story behind that. It's quite a long one, but in a long story short, during school, when I was a kid, I had my own ideas quite a lot, and it led to me maybe being disciplined by my parents when I arrived home. And my stepfather always he had a very unique way of being able to connect with me, even through good and bad times. I'm very appreciative of that. And he knew that I had quite an abstract mind, and he used a lot of interesting analogies and parables to connect with me. And there was one that he used that involved this is obviously a 7-year-old, but it involved a purple cloud. And there was a philosophy he was talking about, or a principle within Greek philosophy that he was actually illustrating to me, but he was doing it in a way to where a 7-year-old would understand it. And there's this principle within Greek philosophy about those that pass on to the other side, they have to pay the ferryman. The person who is I think it's the person who guides new souls to the other side, to the underworld. Kind of, I think it's the Greek equivalent to Anubis. He was giving me this principle at a young age, and it was in a palatable way. And I can't completely articulate it now because, like I said, it's quite a long example.
Mhm.
But there was a theme that was running with this illustration, and it involved a purple cloud, and it just always stuck with me. For whatever reason, it just always stuck with me. And it was, as a 7-year-old, subconsciously, it very much was understood what he was showing me and disciplining me with. Consciously, there would be work and experience to be had. And I remember the moment where I really understood what he was trying to convey to me. It actually wasn't too long ago. I was really kind of meditating on it. And I remember I called him. I was living in the Middle East at the time. And I called my mother and I asked to speak with him. And I said, I completely understand what you was showing me all those years back. I was working in a line of work in the Middle East that involved a lot of accountability, a lot of responsibility. And he was essentially showing me that authority, responsibility, and accountability all go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
Center among those things. Yeah. And I was in a project management role at the time, and there was a lot of learning over there. It was good fun, and there was just some snags that I was working with at the time, and it just led me to meditate on his words, and it just brought me right back to being that 7-year-old. So that was that moment, but it wasn't really then that I said, yes, let's start something called Cloud Purple. But it came later on, and I just felt as though a lot of who I am spiritually came from those younger days, came from that era of my being. And I just thought it was a good thing to, let's say, bring to life via what we're doing. And other than that, also, cloud, the word cloud is a term used for storage these days, especially speaking.
Yes, it is. Yeah, iCloud. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, something that we come across quite frequently today when we're talking about data storage, information storage. And when we look at the color purple, it's within the electromagnetic spectrum, visible light specifically, it's the highest frequency that we observe.
Interesting.
And
interesting.
If I may, it also comes to 7 if we use the Pythagorean system. So that's also...
Well, that's why I love purple. I really love purple. I mean, my whole theme is about purple. Yeah, so it's interesting.
And it's interesting it coming to 7 whilst being in terms of you know, from the spectrum that we see from red up, it's the 7th color also. But yeah, we decided to go with those with Cloud Purple as our title and as our name, and to also kind of embody some of the principles that made me who I am.
Vanessa, your turn. Now, you said you started around about 19, around 2016.
Yes.
And so when did you step out to say, you know, I want to do this? And when did you start reading people or whatever the case is to say, okay, we got this? And did you read Corey, by the way, when you met him or before you married him?
Thoroughly.
Absolutely. However, it's funny because it was actually Corey that consciously introduced me to numerology. I remember he asked me, I think, oh gosh, it must have been maybe 2016, actually 2017. And he said, do you know what your life path number is? And then when I looked up, it is, as you would say, Lloyd, it read me like a book. And from then on, I just haven't looked back. And I think I also put a lot of testament to a lot of ease in my name as well, and in my profile, which is, you know, always forward moving energy, a lot of, you know, exploration, very much how I am. So when did I start wanting to do it? Well, it's when I just couldn't stop talking about the numbers, and I just thought, you know, when you're speaking with friends and family, and they're just thinking, "Oh my, Vanessa, what are you talking about?" And thinking, I
can relate. Yeah,
this is it. There must be a niche in people that, you know, want to learn and go inwardly to have that and achieve that self-mastery as I have with my numbers. And what's also been great is looking back, reflecting on how the numbers have been helpful with certain lessons. So even when I took my driving test when I was 19, it took me 5 times to pass my test, and that's my life path number. So, and I remember saying on my 5th time, I said, if I do not pass this test, I will never drive again. And that was my statement to say, Vanessa, you've got this. This is happening. So it was my kind of kick up the butt, you know. So I think it was probably 2023, I would say, was when we were talking about, you know, setting up shop, Cloud Purple.
That's interesting because that's year of the 7.
There we go. And 7 is a big number in my life when it comes to having, not just seeking wisdom and making the best judgment possible, the correct judgment. It's about, you know, coming to the surface of it all, but also going beneath the surface and having a holistic understanding and understanding and so forth. So it's quite I see it as quite a righteous number, but when it's well earned, it's very deserved, the characteristics, but a lot of responsibility and accountability there too. And of course, being an accountant, you have to be very honest. It's black and white. You know, this is either correct or it's not. I've made a mistake, or this is right. So that's very much within my nature and how I operate. So I think sometimes people say I'm a bit too nice to be in business. However, you know, there's always people's different perspective and styles and how they introduce themselves. So last year when we set up business, so 2024, so Universal Year of the 8, that's a very prominent number in my chart. I mean, I really appreciate that number. Together, Corey and I share that number, husband and wife, look at our life paths together. Very strong number, you know, unstoppable forces, or a force essentially. And when we were starting up what we wanted to offer, we said, okay, let's have a look at an internal discovery to start with. So we look at 5 pivotal numbers, you know, your life path, your personality number, soul urge, expression, birthday number, to give you a really good solid baseline, and then springboarding from there. I mean, we have coined our own terms for those numbers as well, but we do refer to them as the universal terms too. So if people want to look at it more, you know, they can do so. And I think also, being an engineer, Corey, and being an accountant myself, we want people to have a toolkit that they can understand what the numbers mean. And it's not just us saying, okay, you have a lot of 7s in your charts, or, you know, you being born on this day means X, Y, Z. It's to really, where they can take it and say, do you know what, I want to have a look and see what my child's numbers are, you know, so they can take it as like a family map, essentially. And we say a purple print instead of a blueprint. Again, we like to, you know, when you have your own business, you can be creative in such a way. So yeah, really fortunate and really excited to extend upon that. We'll be going into more professional leaning soon, you know, business names, and, you know, starting of business. So very much inspired by Kimberly, what she offers. And I think if I recall correctly, Lloyd, you said that we have a similar birthday.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
And I watched her show with you, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Fantastic articulation Kimberly has, and really, really inspiring. And it's beautiful to see a mirror, but a different vibrancy, you know. So yeah, really inspired.
Y'all are very similar in many ways, believe it or not. So I just thought it was interesting. Before we open up the comments to get people's birthdays, because I see some already, what about this event that's coming up on the 23rd of August?
Absolutely. We are, well, again, super excited and stoked to have you in August. So we wanted to host an event and essentially bridge the gap between the Americas and the UK. There's such a wealth of information. There's such a wealth of creativity. And most importantly, there's such an overwhelming amount of interconnectedness in everything that we discuss, whether that be with you, Numbers and you, Lloyd, or at Cloud Purple. So the metaphysics, the Numerology, they're all intertwined, and they speak so loudly to us all. So we thought it would be great to have, you know, a 3-hour event. You have your first time over in the UK as well.
Yep, it's going to be interesting. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So,
I also wanted to also touch on your point with regard to there being quite a lot of inspiration on your side of the pond, because there's figures that we've been watching for several years that we very much have been pulling a lot of inspiration from. And I just wanted to express gratitude to the community at large. I've been watching Brother Rich's show for several years. Another individual that has really been amazing for my own development within this field has been Dr. Phil Valentine. And part of the purpose of this to bringing together is for us to essentially have a consortium of individuals and minds that are within this field, so we can all work together and develop together. There's a lot of changes in today's world and a lot of things that are, needing to be understood. And it would just be really good if we could bridge that gap.
Well, go ahead, Vanessa.
Excuse me. Thank you, Lloyd. I was just going to say, what better way in the universal year of a 9 as well, having that, reaching that pinnacle of self-mastery and having that universal collective together. That's so important for us. Thank you.
Well, there are two things I want to say thank you to. First of all, thank you two for inviting me, but I need to thank Brother King Simon for making it happen, who referred you to me. That made it possible. So, as I try to tell people think that when they see me that I've done all these things, not realizing all the people have been played angelic roles along helping me get this far. And King Simon, because King Simon didn't have to do that.
Yes, for
He
sure.
said, well, I can't make it, and all of a sudden he don't know me, but that's his spirit. We are both Aquarians. We're like brothers.
Yes.
I adopted your husband as my baby brother. Okay, I got a lot of baby brothers walking around now.
King Simon is very amazing with his ability of being able to connect people. A lot of the times when I'm watching Brother Rich's show, I always see him assisting some of the people that might feature on the show. He'll put their details
but this
up.
is what I'm saying. That's his energy. He is a rare breed in the United States. I'll put it like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And the brother is actually brilliant too, as far as I'm concerned. And I always say he wrote this book. Numbers are simple, but people are complicated. How I wish I'd have had that title, because it's true. The numbers is easy to add up. It's the people that are complicated. Now, would there anything you want to share with them, or Vanessa, what do you need? You just need the birthday, the month, the day, and the year, or what do you need?
Absolutely.
And if somebody got a question?
Yes, please. The floor and chat is open for questions. We'd love to hear from you all. Thank you.
Okay, so I've got some birthdays for you. So we're going to get started. First of all, this is one of our regular Ursa. I thank her very, very much. And
good evening, Arthur.
Okay.
And amazing as well.
Absolutely.
And this is my go-to person on Monday. So course number 3, the do's and don'ts of numerology, was put together by Jazz, Aphrodite, and I.
Yes.
So she is the one that put this together. So let's see. Somebody's giving their birthdays. Let's see how we do it. Everybody is saying greetings. This is one of our mainstays. If I don't hear from Melanie Brown, it's not a good day. I mean, I've got people that just spoil me. Okay. So the first one we have is Jacqueline Christmas. She is born on January the 1st of 1966. So she's a Capricorn, of course. Aries, I would assume that's her moon. And Libra, I would assume that is her ascendant.
Absolutely. And it's beautiful, Jacqueline, because as much as it's just after Christmas, you could say Christmas has come again, I would say, just based on your name.
Right.
I mean, being born on the first day, I mean, a lot of leadership. And I can see from, if that's your photo, Jacqueline, very, presidential with your photo there, I would say. So you exude that energy just from, photo alone. So if I have a look at your life path number, so you would be a 6 life path, if I'm correct in saying, if I use the Pythagorean method, that's usually my go-to method.
Now, when you say life path, what do you mean? Is that the month, the day, and the year she's born?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So adding up your day, month, and year, that will come to a 6. So
that would be correct. That would be correct. Yep.
So that means that you would definitely exude a lot of harmonious nature and tendencies within you, definitely be centered around the family too. And then on the other side, making sure that home is very nice, you might want to maybe overspend and be a bit extravagant. So, but hey, when you're sprucing up the home or having a big party or event, it's important that you want to, go large, let's say, or make a time to remember. Very caring as well. You'll definitely be a center point of the family, and whether it be extension of your family networks too, and really want to make sure that you are attending to everyone's needs, but remembering that your needs also must be prioritized too.
Okay, good. Queen D says, welcome.
Thank you.
And this is a brother from out the country too. He says greetings. I think he's from the UK too, or some part of Africa.
Chickasee, I believe. Good evening and nice to meet you.
Greetings.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now this is Eartha. She's one of the regulars. She said she's born on another Capricorn in the house. It's interesting because the first person was born in 66, which is 22. This Capricorn is born in 57, which adds up to 22. And you happen to be born on the 22nd. So she's born January the 12th, 1957 at the time, 7:57 a.m., which means her son is sitting in the 12th house. But go ahead.
Wow, that's a lot of precision. I don't usually look at the time of birth. However, I think it's fantastic, especially to have that mirror of that portal with the 7 as well. So Eartha, and your name as well, as you said, Corey.
It's an amazing name.
When I look at it from the polarity of that, piercing the earth, going to the core and the depths. And I see that also with the deep red jacket that you're wearing in your photo, which is absolutely beautiful, stunning. So when I have a look at the time of the birth, so very much centered around exploration and having adventure, and maybe being a bit scattered at times, which is not a problem, because when you're exploring, you're not maybe centered like number 6, where you're focused on home. And also very creative as well. So very quite like myself actually, where if you have a look at the shape of the number 5, it's very rigid, but actually at the end of your projects or maybe workings, there is always a bit of exploration and creativity there, and your own flair, let's say. So that being centered by what I would say the truth, wisdom, knowledge, and essentially wanting to make sure that you are having that focus towards ascension, I will say. So when I have a look at your life path number, so if I have a look at calculating your day, your month, and your year, it comes to 26, which is an 8.
Yep.
So that's a power number in itself. Of course, if you turn an 8 on its side, it reaches infinity. So it's both sides of the cup are always pouring, but also as the 8 is, it's as above, so below. So, when your mind's all good, everything else is in check as well, and vice versa. And that's such a beautiful foundation to have. A very feminine number too. So lots of curvature in there. And I think when I look at Eartha's name, very maternal, very nurturing, and that's when I think of the 8 too. It's exudes a lot of that energy.
And it's interesting because 8 is an earth number.
Yes.
8 is ruled by the element of earth. But I like how you said her name is piercing the earth. I thought that was interesting. And I says, that's Eartha Pierce. Okay, you go, Eartha.
we do at Cloud Purple as well look at the etymology of names as well. And of course, when we have a look at the soul urge and also destiny and personalities, we're looking at the vowels and the consonants, and they're very telling. Vowels are very expressive. Consonants are very, this is what you're getting, and this is a hard stop. This is the stop sign at the end of the road,
Now, Jewel Jeffrey says they would love a reading. They are born on April the 12th of 1964.
Wow. And I'm very fortunate to be part of the 19th century. I think it's a beautiful period to be part of. But of course, we've also got the modern day age as well. So let me have a look. Jewel Jeffrey, beautiful name too. It's, sparkling in itself, and the double F's are the 66. So you've got a lot of creativity there, Jewel, whether it be in the jewelry business or another field. I think that would be the double J as well. So the portal number, the 11, that could be something that you might want to style a business on, let's say. So we've got the 12th of April. So we've got a 9, then a 27, if I'm correct in saying. So
that would be correct. Yep.
So yes, definitely, Jewel, coming from a place of your pathway being on a pathway to mastery, but also not just self-mastery. Once you've reached that self-mastery, expanding that outwardly. And if we have a look at the symbol of the number 9, and I like to always share this story, it's spiraling outwardly. So it's always, affecting not just your home, your community, but the wider. So when we have a look from a geo perspective, so that's absolutely beautiful. And I would also say, looking at his name ending in Jeffrey, so his house name and house principles will always end with the truth, and always be leading into that as well, starting with the J, so the number 1, which is absolutely beautiful, and a very high energy as well with the E's and the 5s. So always moving forward, not really looking back as much. And being born on the 12th, so very creative energy, so the 3. So, but of course, wanting to keep in the discipline, balancing creativity with discipline as well. That's very important.
Well, King Simon says, wonderful.
Thank you.
Greetings.
A lot of sense to me. That makes a lot of sense. And we're going to put some things up, but right now, Jazz Aphrodite is getting us started by where to follow Cloud Purple on IG. And that is the link. I'm going to put both of on the banner, all the details, but this is just the start of it here too.
Thank you, Jazz.
Thank you.
And also, I have one of the best moderators. Okay, really. There is no substitute. She's always such a professional person. And so you can see, to get a consultation, and please go to the link there at https://cloudpurple.com. You also on Instagram, right? On the Cloud Purple CO.
That's correct.
That's
yes.
correct. Yes.
Yeah. So yes, and in fact, I think you asked me to join, and I signed up. So I think you should see that.
Thank you.
And Joy Smith says she loves it. Okay.
Beautiful. What a joy.
Much
Thank you, Joy.
appreciated.
And as always, Jazz Aphrodite says that if you happen to be in the UK area next month, attend the Interconnectedness Conference there. And this is the other link. Is this where they can also order online tickets too? Because
that's it.
That's correct. So I think we will be having a similar setup. We have got an online option so people that are not able to make it, and especially from across the seas, but would like to, still be part of the experience. There's that option to have an online ticket. So 2 weeks before the event, that will be more details, and the ticket will be shared. But that is available for purchase and reservation.
Okay. Now, this is my good buddy here, Stephen E. He's November 17th of 1976. What say you about him?
Yes, absolutely.
Greetings, Stephen.
Yeah, he's one day before you, right?
Yeah, I'm the 18th.
Yeah, because you're November 18th.
That's the one.
And I think it's interesting because you said it was founded on the 18th of August.
Yes.
That's
yes.
correct.
Probably your wife has something to do with that. We ain't going to go there, though, but...
Wow. So if my calculation shows me correct, your life path is a 33, Stephen, which is
and powerful number.
If I'm right in saying that, Lloyd. I'm saying that because it's a bit late here in the UK, so I'm being a bit cheeky.
No, I understand. It's after 12, so
I please excuse me one moment. Whenever I see a master number, I get very excited and I get a bit carried away, you see.
And he's born at 10:12 8:24 a.m. So that means 6, 7, 8.
7.
He's actually, his sun is in the 10th house, the house of career, the house of assertiveness, things like that. So his house is in the house of Capricorn, the 10th house.
That's very interesting. Looking at, so even on the day that you were born, Stephen, so born on the 17th, which comes to an 8, that's a very powerful number.
Yep.
So looking very much on efficiency, house of wealth. Again, you've always got your cups filled, no matter what you're doing, as above, so below also. And being born on the 11th month, so you've got a master number there, being the intuitive leader. So you've always come from a place where you've got that correct judgment to lead forth. So that's reinforcing that twin-like energy, which is fantastic. It's beautiful. Really, really love a lot of aspects of life as well. I noticed that about the number 11, but can also be quite impractical too, because your visionary is very big. So, you're wanting to really dream and result in big output, let's say. So your life path coming to a 33, that's a really powerful number. A lot of responsibility, however, a lot of high reward from that. So the 33 is classed as the master teacher number in numerology. And Lloyd, you know all about that very well with your name beginning with a double L. So you've got the master teacher to begin with. So you always come from that place of high responsibility.
It would be 33.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it would be 33. Okay, so, now this one is strictly for your husband. Here's why.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Interesting. Yes. Greetings.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, she came in right after Stephen one day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes. My goodness me. Mm.
I always find it interesting when I come across people that have the same birthday as I. I worked with someone who had the same birthday also. And we didn't learn this about each other until quite later into our friendship and our professional dynamic. But we would just have these random things in common, and it was very unintentional, but we just fall into these kind of.
But it shows because numbers set a pattern.
Yeah.
To a greater or lesser degree, depending on a person's environment, love, lack of love, community. There's a lot of other outside factors, but numerically, the patterns is almost similar. I noticed.
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
So
Vanessa?
Yes. So Katarina, Katarina Jones. So I've worked out that your life path number comes to a 4. So very, very much grounded, very centered, very disciplined as well, I'm sure. And also making sure that when you look at the number 4, it's quite a big number. Even in life, we've got 4 seasons. That's a very big element and very big part of the cosmos, essentially, and how we work. Very good number also if you're in accountancy or detective work. So very good investigator. I'm sure you can be testament to that, Lloyd. And wanting to really build well. Build long-lasting structures. And when you look at the number 4, it is the house that provides the home. Traditionally, houses usually are based on a square format. So a very, again, strong house to hold a home. So I'm sure you can relate to that, Katarina.
Good. Well, we have the next person here named Taurus David. She said she would love to have a love reading, please. Okay.
Yeah. That's interesting.
She's April 24th, 1977.
Well, I'm going to have to dip into that 7 here and the double, the twin light, because I've not conducted a love reading before. However, I can provide the signatures and tonations of your numbers, so that could be helpful for if you are looking for a suitor.
While you're doing that, let me say it this way. She's born under the sign of Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, which is the love planet. She's born on the 24th, that's ruled by Venus, which is the love planet. And she's born in 1977, which has the 24, which is the love planet. So love.
Wow.
And say that you're destined for that love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even the signature code within your date of birth, you've got the 24, 4, and 24. So, wow, that's
See 6 across the board.
Absolutely. And there's definitely even the month that you're born in, April. So, you know, that's the start of spring usually. So, you know, that's, could say maybe having quite a large spring in your step, and also a good grounding in that love and that relationship that you will hold, or if you hold currently. And being born on the 24th, so 6th day. So again, being very much centered around harmony, wanting, you know, relationships to exist and be well and of good nature as well, and very caring as well. I suppose that the flip side can be very critical, but when you care a lot about someone or something, you will be very critical to every aspect of that.
I think that critical nature can also come from the fact that where you have such an abundance in, let's just say, the energy of love, there's a lot that you have to offer. There's a lot that you have to exude, and there's a lot that people would also be able to read. Be very intentional with who you share that energy with, because it's potent. You've got a lot of love symbology there. So I would say that be very intentional with where that goes, and the right person will read into it and also reciprocate.
All right, I like that. This person, who I don't know, his name is Saya. He says, "Big up to Corey and Vanessa."
Yes, Saya.
Saya here, and in fact, he is from the UK also, and I'm going to have him on in August, because when I'm visiting and the days I'm there with you two, I understand you're going to take me to see him, and we're going to have something. So he's a numerologist also. And so I want to see his style of how he reads. So big up to you too, Brother Saya. Okay?
He has an amazing energy. Honestly, he has an amazing energy, and every conversation we have with him is it's like a time capsule. You know,
I was literally
he's no joke. I've seen he is no joke.
If we have, if I may, Lloyd, if we have any listeners that are in the London area, Saya also, him and his family have a shop in Brixton, which house many herbs, many beautiful fruits, oranges from Jamaica, and beautiful mangoes. So please be sure to.
He's a specialist in energy correction. Anyone who's looking for nutritional guidance, help, anything of that nature, he has an innate ability to help you in that area. Honestly speaking, especially in today's day and age where it's quite difficult to get the nutrition that you need. And we're in a high intensity standard of living these days, especially with work and everything that we've got going on. He can really curate a good protocol for your dietary.
Let me ask you to, since you're outside of the United States, here in a lot of supermarkets and stores, they have products called labeled bioengineered ingredients, which means it's lab made. Do you all have that a lot there in the UK?
So what I'm starting to see, especially since Brexit, us leaving the European Union, prior to that, we actually had a lot of produce from Europe, and the guidelines were synonymous with the European guidelines. And it was typically that there was a limitation of things of that nature. You would have quite a lot of good produce, let's just say. I've noticed since we have left, there are different legislation guidelines coming in, not necessarily something that's being spoken about, you know, from the rooftops. It's kind of being slid in. But that's
how the labels are too.
Yeah,
the print is very, very small on the products. Very small, almost invisible. Bioengineered ingredients.
From what I've seen, also they use a lot of wordplay. So you might think that you're getting something that's organically produced, but the term organic is very loose over here. You know,
so I think it's looser over here. Okay.
Yes, for sure.
There's many different grades of organic.
Because they know the tendency is we would grab more of an organic package, and sometimes it's not necessarily so. So you do have to have a level of discernment when we buy products and services here, I do believe.
I think what they have here is that if the meat is butchered here, they are able to, and don't quote me, but I believe they're able to basically say that it was produced here, even if the meat has come from elsewhere. where there's different guidelines and different legislation. So it's changed a lot
So
here.
things are beginning to blur itself, as they call it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Okay, well, we ain't here to talk about food, but
Yeah.
when you brought up Saya, because I saw his video where he sent him Brixton, so I'd like to go to Brixton. Well, I am going to go to Brixton because I'm going to go see him.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about how his mother got it started. Now, this is Pearl Lucas. She's born April 26th of 1948. Okay, and 1948 is also the year of the 22. So I've noticed one is born in 66, one is born in 57. Then we've got this one, 1948. This is the 22. So we just need a 1984, 1975, 1993. Well, I ain't looking for 22s, but go right ahead.
So this is what I really love, that even the names are so aligned with the numbers. So Pearl, when I have a look at your day, month and year that you're born on, that comes to a 34 and a 7. And I automatically see you as the Pearl of Wisdom. You know, that saying that we usually have. So, and even your name starting with a P, which is 7, if we use the Pythagorean system. So always coming from a place of truth. But with that beautiful L at the end of your name, you are always going to communicate that clearly and so delicately put. So what a beautiful name you have.
And it's interesting. She has a total of 7 numbers in her birthday: 4, 2, 6, 1, 9, 4, 8, which is a total of 7 numbers.
Wow, that's absolutely, yeah. So always wanting to strive towards seeking wisdom, understanding knowledge. That's always important for you, Pearl, I would say. And even Lucas as well. So you've got the 333. So you've got the creativity turning into mastery. That's absolutely beautiful. And then closing with the portal, that striking through the portal and how you exert yourself with the A and the S, the 11. And this is, wow. So Pearl, I would definitely say a career for you in such a sphere, you know, of the spiritual community is definitely something that would be best suited for you if you are not in that already. And I can see why you've been brought here this evening. So thank you very much.
It's a double L there as well, in a way. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And we have this person here. She's another Capricorn, born January the 17th, 1988.
Wow. Loving the double 8 as well. The double femininity there, but also coming into the 16 and 7, which is absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
True.
And it's kind of like triple 8's going across the board, because Capricorn is ruled by the 8. She's born on the 17th, which is an 8. And she's born in 1988, which is 26, which is an 8. So she has a triple 8 like that lady that was April the 24th of the year 1977.
Absolutely. So yes, extremely feminine, I will say, in the divinely feminine, I will say. And even when I think about your name, the Lacey Keisha. So when I think about Lacey, I think about how delicate lace is as well, how we would put that on dresses and garments, which is absolutely beautiful.
An experience, I like that.
Yes,
the Lacey Keisha experience.
And being born in January, which is considered, if we look at the Gregorian calendar, being the first of the month. So very much leading within that too. And coming up to a 35 as well, which is absolutely beautiful. That's a number sequence that we're quite resonant with. So, you know, having a lot of creativity, but a lot of freedom there too, and coming together, having that 8. So, you know, if you've got that freedom and exploration, the other side is always going to top you up and make sure it's accounted for. So absolutely beautiful numbers and name and business experience, if I'm saying there. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Now this one is born 2/22/1972.
That's my mother's, yeah.
And that's 72. My favorite number, because I'm born on that day too.
22nd, yeah.
And I always say, when it comes to being born on the 22nd or having a 22 in your chart, that's a master builder number. My understanding of that frequency and symbol is that it is able to bring the unfathomable into reality. So anything that you put your mind to will come into fruition. And I am a big advocate, and I can speak from experience on that. And even when you look at the 22, it's, you know, it's made up of 4 ones. So very universally centric with your conduction of life. And it's almost like a double portal you have there. So you're able to have a lot of intuition in your decisions as well, and also see each side of both of the coins that you may have in your hands. So when I have a look at your life path number, so 26, so that also comes to an 8 as well. So that's a fantastic, please excuse me there, Lloyd, I think that comes to an 8. Please correct me.
No, it comes to a 7.
You got a 7, excuse me.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So very much centered around a life path of looking at wisdom, intellect as well. So very much being one who likes to analyze and study, good at reporting and looking at data as well. But also making sure that that's balanced with not being too isolated, because it's important to, of course, have your mind to yourself, but it's also important to share what incredible mind that you have with the collective and the universe too.
All right. I'm looking at the time. The time is going by so fast. I know your husband has to get up to be to work at 6 in the morning.
Oh, don't mind me. Honestly, I don't mind you at all.
Yeah. I'm not gonna have you talk about me later on, buddy. That's for sure. Okay. So can we go about maybe another 5 or 10 more minutes?
That's okay. Thank you.
Okay. This is Brother Denzetti. He is born November the 6th of 1988.
Okay.
I know a lot of people coming on were born in double years this year.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the pattern.
Denzetti sounds like a powerful name.
Yeah. He's a powerful brother too, out of Chicago.
So I've got a 43, so a 7 for your life path here. And excuse me, Lloyd, may you remind me of this person's name?
Denzetti.
Denzetti. Wow. Denzetti or DS.
Wow. Fantastic. I've never heard of such a name. Very unique.
Sounds powerful.
Absolutely. So it comes to 43-7. So again, very much a life path centered around seeking intellect, wanting to analyze, wanting to make sure that everything is correct and ready to ascend to the next stage. But of course, you really do enjoy your own company as well, and maybe a bit too much sometimes. And being born on, it's November, right? November the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
So and being born on a 6th day, always wanting to seek harmony in your interactions, which is absolutely beautiful. Always having consideration for home and family, friends too. So always making sure people are taken care of. And again, being born on the 11th month, so Scorpio. So again, very, very inwardly concerned, but very expresses a deep wealth of emotions and affections. May not always be seen and shown, but they are definitely present. And being born in the 11th month, so the intuitive leader month, so always making sure that you are leading through a space of experience and previous learnings and lessons and accomplishments.
I like how you put that, because this person is also born in the 11th month.
Wow. Do you know what? It's really interesting because I find a lot of the people that I work with here, they have a lot of master numbers, and I find it very interesting that I have all of the master numbers in my chart, including my name and the day that I was born. And I just find there's a lot that you have to be aware of when you have a double-digit number, because you've got the responsibility twice. So it's like having a set of twins. You know, you've got to not just be responsible once, but it's also twice. But again, you've got twice that energy, so it's twice the greater output and the result. So the 3rd of November, correct?
November the 3rd.
Fantastic. So a creative day. So very, very chatty as well. And this man's name.
I'd agree with you on that. I like how you put that. Very chatty. Go ahead.
And excuse me, this man's name, is it just C or?
Yeah, that's all he gave us. But C is a 3. C is a letter 3.
Yeah. So C
is his birth date. Okay.
Absolutely. So we've got here. We've got the 11. So 11 life path, or a 2. However, I tend to not condense that down to a single digit number.
Well, the way I did it properly to see it, it would add up to a 2. At first, I thought it might have been an 11.
Okay, I got the 29 because I added it all together.
It was 29, 11, but but
Yeah.
1 + 1 is 2. There's a traditional way which I teach of how to determine whether it's a master number, but be that here or there. See, and this is the point where I express too, whether it's a master number 22 or master number 11, it's how you live it.
Yes.
And if the mindset is small, I'll just say, well, you just a 2, you just here. And if you're a 4, you just doing the best you can.
Yes.
To an 11, you're supposed to take it to the next level. And as a matter number 2, you have no excuse not to build something lasting and permanent. And you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Yes.
I like that principle because it's a master number for a reason. But to achieve mastery, work needs to be done.
Absolutely.
To elevate to that point. Yeah.
Even when we think about the number 2, we look at the vice president and we think about how a lot of the vice president's input is, displayed in the president's actions. It's just not always
You mean
seen.
J.D. Vance?
Well,
Maybe not.
He's born August 2nd. No, it's interesting. He's born August 2nd. So I just thought that's interesting.
Okay.
Wow. There we go. So,
Okay.
but
That's all I'm saying.
Being born in the 8th month,
Like which vice president I should have said which vice president you're talking about, but okay.
So there's still a lot of power within that, but it's just also making sure that you're not too shy. Come forth with that and really shine. And being born on the 3rd day, you're definitely going to make sure that your voice is heard for sure. Very good.
Very good. Now, this is Kamala Knight. She's born. I'll just take about maybe 2 more, and then that's it after this. 2 more after this. This is Kamala Knight, September the 12th. She's born at 8:52 p.m. So that would make her in the 5th house. But go ahead.
So when I have a look at Camilla's life path, it comes to an 8. I've got the 35 again. So very much a life path of wanting to have the utmost efficiency for your life, Camilla. And even when I look at your name as well, your family name alone, a knight, I think about a knight on a chessboard, very efficient, very assertive with its move on a chessboard. It always moves in an L shape, but when you look at how it can spiral, when you look at a spiral in itself, very efficient in its movement, very much centered around having a house of wealth, projects and businesses of wealth, or just generally a day of wealth. But also making sure that you're balancing that with ruthless behavior, because of a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility, and it can also bring sometimes other tendencies that may not be as welcomed, let's say, in the day.
Now, before we bring on the last 2, he says he is in fact located there in your city.
Nice one.
Fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to
seeing it.
And he said he is looking to join us on the 23rd of August.
Beautiful.
That's it. See you there.
It's almost as if you'll talk that up. I just think that's so interesting.
Yes, and if I may, Chikazi, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, I even see a lot of mastery there. I always add the C and the H to an 11, and the I being the 9, and then the K being the 11, because it's the 11th letter in the alphabet. So I can see what's brought you here today, Chikazi. I'm very much looking forward to meeting you as well in August.
Well, I tell you this, we'll do 2 more as promised, and we will do this person here, Haru, September 24th of 72, and we'll take 1 more.
Beautiful. And did you have any words to say about the name as well?
Oh, you already knew. You already knew. Yeah. Haru is a very very special figure within Kemetic principle and mythology. So yeah, it's definitely I'm looking forward to hearing these numbers from you. So
if my calculations serve me correctly, I get a 34 again, and it comes to a 7 as a life path. So even when I look at the day that you're born on the 6th day on the 9th month, I associate the 6 and the 9 together in that stance and sequence as the yin and the yang. So the balancing principles. So if you can have the balancing principles within the life path of a 7, seeking intellect and higher wisdom and knowledge and understanding, that's a fruitful journey, I will say. And again, not always being so inwards toward yourself, because when you look at a spiritual nature of a person, when they're meditating a lot or diving into the source of information, they can be quite closed. So it's always important to balance in that polarity, the yin and the yang. There's a bit of everything in everything, and making sure that you share that delight with the world as well.
I like the way you phrased that, because Haru has a Christ-like energy, and we already see Christ as an energy that's supposed to give the world consciousness and elevation. So it's kind of part and parcel with your name also, I would say.
Well, this will have to be our last one. I have many, and many of them are saying thank you, honors. It's really nice. Big love up to all of you. It says, it's so. By the way, this is thanks for the donation. Well, much appreciated, Vicky. And she is born June the 17th of 1958 at 7:52 a.m., which means her sun is sitting in the 12th house. House of Pisces.
Beautiful. And I'm also just noticing as well the 7, and then you've got the 52 as well, which comes to the 7. So again, it's that portal and entering through the double 7 to come to the 5 of, again, the portal of freedom, I will say. So when I have a look, excuse me, I was on the last digit and then my mind became consumed.
Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. And thank you for extending your time, being 5 hours ahead. It's so interesting. We were in actually 2 time zones. One is in the future, one is in the present, which I think is interesting.
The way it works. Yeah, it is interesting. But we can be together and essentially share each other's presence just the same.
So what, again, you just, as you always say, Corey, you can't make this up. I look at your name, Vicky, and when I think about Vicky, I think about victorious. And it's interesting because Lloyd, even when I look at your book that I have, Numbers and You, it says that my name is specifically actually drawn to Victoria. So it's very interesting because I do know a couple of Victorias, and I am very inspired by them, I will say. So when I have your life path, Victoria, when I calculate your day, your month, and your year, it comes to a 37, which is a 1. So again, very much leading into victory, I will say. So very much wanting to take the center stage, whether it be in life, projects, business, personal, but also making sure that that's balanced with the assertive nature, but also sometimes maybe being a bit arrogant. But when you are leading and you're first in line and, you know, first with a group or a tour, you have to know your whereabouts and you have to know what's going on. So that does warrant and merit a degree of arrogance sometimes, but maybe not all the time.
Well, I tell you this, I'm going to let you two have a break, but this is my guest, Corey and Vanessa Bent, a Leo and a Scorpio, respectively. He's the metaphysician. She is the numerologist. And please go, the email is cloudpurple.co. I guess that's for United Kingdom. The consultation, if you want consultations, is cloudpurple.co/emporium. And please support them because this is something they're starting on their own. They, you know, it ain't like they got paid $1 zillion and stuff like that. So please support them at PayPal. That's tinyurl or tinyurl.com/cloudpurple44. And they have a site on YouTube called Watch, and it's there you see it. It's got a lot of letters and things, and that X is a 0, not an O. It's a 0. Okay, so y'all got that straight. But I do want to thank you. Any parting word, you two, before I let you two go to bed?
Just want to say thank you to everyone, and thank you to yourself, Lloyd. Thank you to King Simon. And we both see gratitude as a very, very important energy and frequency.
I say on that one.
Express that honestly. It really, really does mean a lot. And in terms of what you said, $1 gazillion is nothing compared to the type of people, community, that the people within this community and the type of characters that we could come across, that to us is where the value is, being able to interact with people and understand people's journey and story, and be able to aid them and be aided by them, because it's a collective here. So I just wanted to add that the wealth is in us as the people within the community.
Yeah, I agree. And
Yeah.
so please, both of you, either of you, explain about the event coming up on the 23rd of August.
Absolutely. Thank you. So we'll be hosting an event on Saturday, the 23rd of August. It will be a 3-hour event from 1 till 4 o'clock with some canapes and networking. And I very much looking forward to the food element. And if you know me, then you will know that we never shy away from quality. So just on the food note alone, but of course, it will be an extra special day because Mr. Lloyd Strayhorn will be visiting the UK. This is his first visit with us and certainly not the last. And he will be essentially showcasing his wealth of knowledge, his golden archive with us, whether that be from astronumerology to palmistry. And Corey and I will also be getting involved in the metaphysics aspect, the etymology aspect, and we'd very much love to welcome you all there, whether it be online. We've got some online tickets. We will be streaming
right
live.
there. This is where they can get the tickets, right? Online tickets.
That's the one.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Jazz.
And we've
thank you, Jazz. Definitely.
Thank you. We've got limited, very, very important person tickets. We've only got 11 available. So please feel free to tap in if you're feeling extra special for the day. And then we've got some standard tickets as well. But it's going to be an absolutely fabulous, brilliant, and once in a lifetime event. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I tell you, it's going to be very interesting. But to you two, thank you so much. Thank you very much. And to my baby brother there, I look forward to seeing him in about another month, because we're going to hang out. Okay.
Almost.
We're going to hang out with us. I'm telling you straight up.
We've got an itinerary for you. Like we said, we're going to have some fun. It's going to be good.
Absolutely. We'll be touring London in style,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And you'll love Brixton as well. On the sides there, he's also excited.
And we've got some more, but we'll save some of that for you and Sire to share as well.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Lloyd, for having us.
No. Thank you for staying up this late when, especially, he's got to be to work in a couple of hours, so he needs to get.
So do I. I have got to put my accountant.
I can't leave you out too. Yeah. Okay.
It's all right.
It's all
and
good.
Thank you,
thank you. And you'll have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And shall I say good morning? As against good night.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And a good night
Thank
to
you,
you all.
everyone. Take care.
Okay. Bye now.
Peace.
Bye.
So, as you see, this was nice. And this is where I'll be at on the 23rd of next month there in the UK. It'll be my first visit. I've gone to various other parts of the world, but I've never been to the UK. So it'll be a first for me. And I do want to let you know that this show is being brought to you by Numerology, which is Numbers Matter. Her podcast show is always amazing. In fact, she's having amazing deals on her charts. It's not $50 off, but it's $50. And she's a number 2, born on the 20th of the month. She is very, very detailed. Okay. And then I need to thank my brother, King Simon, who was suggested to Vanessa and Corey that because of his schedule, he couldn't make it. He says, why don't I invite me? So this is how I got the invitation. So again, the way my father raised me, you never be afraid to give another man his due or another person their due. And I think if we all do that, I think we'd all have a better world too. Also, Nicholas Brooklyn and out in 1396 Fulton Street, they're going to have a big affair this coming Saturday, July the 12th, and starts at 7 p.m. It is definitely about raising people's consciousness, status corrections, tribal genealogy, immigration, equity, jurisprudence, discharging debts. And trust me, I think you might want to be in just the discharging debt in and of itself. Also, I do want to let you know that Chenna's book will be available in a couple of days. Hopefully by Wednesday, it might be available, but he's still holding to it that the next 7 days. the next 7 days is going to be, he's going to make the ebook available for only 99 cents for 7 days only. Also, I do want to thank Jazz Aphrodite, and I think I'm going to have her on at some point this month to talk more in depth about this Numerology Mastery Institute that she's having and why it's going to be probably fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And finally, I want to thank Ms. Kimberly for Manifest on Purpose, who has a podcast, Astronumerology Reveals, Weekly Wisdom, things of that nature. She's also set up a service, astronumerical service for businesses. She gives a complimentary consultation. That don't mean you'll call her and bend her ear. You keep it short, sweet, to the point. She's going to ask you a couple of things, so be prepared. She has a questionnaire, but it's designed to help you astronumerically find the direction of your business. And just go to, at the bottom of this flyer here, Kimberly, KIMBALEY.com, and schedule an appointment. As you know, there have been mass layoffs, which means a lot of people are going to survive by either starting a business or whatever the case is. This is where you should go. Today is the last day. My class is on sale for this amount. And so please take advantage. You will own all three. And actually, if you had breakfast for two, you can get all of them. You own them. Get all of them. Just don't get one. Get the whole trilogy. Own them. And this is the only time, believe me, I'd like to push it at full retail, but I'd rather get the volume and spread the word. So please do that. All righty. And by the way, my newsletter is absolutely free. The July newsletter is out. And so all you got to do is go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com or Linktree/numbers-in-you. And for those of you that don't want to read the newsletter, well, if you get it, all you got to do is click on the link and you can see the oral description of how we do it. We do it by way of YouTube where you can hear it, or this way where you can read it. Either way, you're good. And at the end of the month, I'm having another palmistry class. The palmistry class I had was great. It was really fun. Every time I teach, I learn, which is probably why I love to teach, because I love to learn. So it goes hand in hand. Click on the QR code there in the bottom left, and to sign on for the course. There are easy arrangements, payment arrangements to get it done, and you will find it well worth your while. But that will be toward the end of the month. It'll be on the 29th of July. So everybody, I do want to thank you very, very much. Everybody have a very pleasant day. They switched up this board. It's very, very interesting. But anyway, regardless of that, all of you have a nice day. Let me see. Yep. And y'all take care. And I'll talk to you then. See you on Wednesday.